Hi Flosstube, it's Jen, Backcountry Stitcher, and I'm here to talk about cross stitch. So it's been 3 weeks, I think, since my last video. I had to take last week off because I got a new computer, so I was transferring data, and it was a whole thing. So I couldn't film last week, but I do have some whips to show you. I think I have 5 whips, some of which I didn't get a whole lot of progress on, but I worked on them. So I do want to give you guys an update on my rescue piece, Queen of Freedom, which was the Mirabilia piece that I obtained from eBay. I have some updates on her and her restoration, so I'll go over that. And then I have a little bit of haul. Nothing too exciting. And then I'll give you guys kind of a quick update associated with the haul about what's going to be going on in my life in the next month or two. It's going to affect my filming. So anyway, so let's move on. Also, I want to apologize for the lighting. My ring light is not compatible with my new computer, and that was the only way I had to plug it in, basically. So we're just gonna go with it today. So first whip, so I worked on Disintegration, which is Heaven and Earth Designs artwork by Stephanie Pugh-Munlaw. And I think the last time I filmed, I was at like 6%. I did take a couple weekends off for my full coverage. I just wasn't feeling full coverage for a few weekends, so I just didn't work on this that much. So I went from 6% to like 6.5%. So here's where we are with Disintegration. So I basically just filled in one of the diagonals here. And then I started on this other diagonal. Let me see if I can show you. So one big thing is right here. Sorry. Trying to talk over this. Right here is actually the start of the dragonfly's eye. So that's exciting. I think this piece is going to be kind of fun because there's a lot of there's some background, which is nice because the background goes quickly, but there's also a lot of parts of the focus. What's the word, like focal piece? It's pretty big focal piece in there. So, and again, with my absurd amounts of parked threads, I know it's not that many to some people, but it's a lot to me. Yeah. So I mean, considering I only worked on this one weekend, I'm pretty pleased with, I think I got like 1,000 stitches in, like nothing too crazy, but I got some work in. So, all right, the next one I have in my pile, and again, I never go in order of when I stitch them because I have a planner. I did get a new planner. So I did and I put stickers in it. How cute is that? I'm trying to be cutesy. This is my meager attempt. It's really, the stickers are just to cover up the days that I didn't stitch. But so I am keeping track, but I don't know. I don't think it matters if I go in the order I stitch them in. So the next one I worked on was the Raccoon by Cottage Garden Samplings. This is The Year in the Woods number 4. And I didn't get very far on this. I think the last time I saw you guys, I had most of the tail done. And so hang on. I basically just finished the tail on this guy. So I just did that last kind of chevron, and started coming under a little bit where his booty is going to be. Oh, and I outlined the tail with that silver. So not a lot. I don't know why I haven't been dreading moving on to the body, but like it's going to be a lot of counting. So, and a lot of just like keeping track of where I am. it'll be fine. But that's my goal is to get like some decent progress on the body this month. I only have another week left of this month, but regardless, that's my goal. The next one I have is one of my new starts. I actually have 2 new starts. So this one is one of the kits that I showed in one of my like a few videos ago. This is called Scenic Farm. It's a dimensions kit, and it's just a regular dimensions kit. It's not gold collection. But I picked out doing this because I mentioned in my video where I showed the kit that this really reminded me of home, of where I grew up. And it just felt like the right thing to do to stitch it. So I started it. And it's not a bad stitch, honestly. And I really should have ironed this, but I didn't because I forgot. So it's not ironed. So I'm doing this one by page. It's only 2 pages, but when I was doing dimensions kits, I used to not pay attention to the pages, and I would like make copies and tape them together so I could go but this one I'm just doing 1 page and then I'm going to go do the other. So I got just a little bit of a start on it. So this is midline right here, and I got the tree and then this background, which is like super cool because when I first looked at this pattern, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be such a pain because there's so many different colors, but it's all just blended colors. I mean, there's a couple different blends in here, but it's all just blended. So it's not, but it gives a really nice feel to it. And I started down here. This is going to be like a fence or something. We got some snow here. And this isn't a true full coverage. The white, this Ada is going to show through in spots. Not in many spots, but it's where where snow is. That's where it's going to show through. So yeah, so that's Scenic Farm. I'm really enjoying this one, actually. I wasn't sure with because these are like 4-stranded blends, half stitches, and those can get a little much sometimes with these dimensions kits. But I actually am enjoying stitching on it. It's really not that difficult. It's not as difficult as it looks, but I find that true of many patterns when I start getting into them. So that's one of my new starts, and I'm trying to put these away as I go through them because, again, it ends in disaster if I don't. All right, so next I have Dreaming Miss Claus, and let me show you the picture. So this is a Barbara Anna design, and I've been going I started here, moved my way, and now I'm moving my way up here. And I love this design so much. So cute and pretty. I love these wintry designs. I don't do the Christmas thing so much, but I do love winter. And this one I made, oh, what am I doing here? Oh, all my floss is coming out. It's a day today, you guys. It's a day. So let me fold this for you. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much trouble. So here's where I'm at. And I think last time, I think I made some good progress on her, because last time I had her face and the headband done and all here. I finished this earring, kind of see that key earring. I added a lot of her hair, and this up here is going to be mountains. So, I mean, this piece really is not that big. It looks so much bigger, I guess because the pattern is printed like bigger than the actual piece, but it just looks bigger, but it's not. So this has been stitching up pretty quick. I'm hoping to have this done like in the next couple of months. I picked this up like 1 or 2 times since I last saw you guys. not that much. So it's stitching, because this over here and here, this is as wide as the piece is. And then this is not as, it goes up here because there's some stars. That's all Krennic, like a ridiculous amount. So this is all of these stars are Krennic, which I started working with for the first time, and I'll show you in my next one. So it is going to be a bit higher, but I'm going to do the stars last. So she has a face and hair, and she looks like a real human being, which is nice. And I love her earrings. I would wear those earrings totally. All right. So let me put this away. Now my last one is a new start, and it is a Mirabilia. So I was going to start, Lilith of Labrador was going to be my first Mirabilia start, but I'm still waiting on the fabric for it, which I totally get. I'm not like upset about it at all. I mean, it's been May, June, July, like 2 months since I ordered it. So I know some people it's taking like 3 to 4 months to get, so it's fine. But there was another Mirabilia pattern that Christina at Stitchy Symphony showed me. And this is, and I think I showed this to you guys either last time or the time before, but this is Cathedral Woods Goddess, which I loved when I saw it. And she's like, we should stitch it along together. And I was like, all right, done. Let's do it. So I got the fabric, I got everything. And then we had a stitchy meetup, stitchy date a couple of weeks ago. And that was when I started it. And I thought Christina was going to start it too, but she forgot her Q snap. That was the right size. So I started it, and I love it. I am so excited for this. It's a little cockamamie in here, but here she is. So I've worked on her several days. I have really been enjoying working on her. I think she's beautiful. I got like all of her skin and her face done, and I was able to backstitch because I didn't like how she looked without the face. So that was nice. Now, this was the first time I used Krennic ever. And holy moly, guys, there is a lot of Krennic in this piece. I mean, it calls for 5 spools, 3 different colors, and one of the colors has 3 spools that it calls for. And it's not this one. This color it's like a copper color. It's, what is it? It's Krennic 021. It's really pretty. I mean, look at that shimmer. So far that's the only Krennic color I've worked with, but there's going to be a lot more like out here, these branch, a ton more. And there's a lot of beads in this, guys. Oh my God. Like all of these empty spaces here are beads. There's a ton of beads up here. I don't know what I was thinking. This is very bead and Krennic heavy. And I've worked with beads on Mill Hill kits before, but not anything like this. And I definitely have never worked with Krennic before, but it's not that bad. I got some good tips from my friends about how to do this. Was Christina, and then Jamie from Cross Stitch and Chill helped me out doing the Krennic. And I originally was going to do the Krennic after the stitching, but there's so much of it that it's almost impossible to do that because it's impossible to count without having this Krennic in. So, and then I wanted to get it in up here so I could backstitch her face, which I think is pretty, yeah. It's not showing up as well on this scale. I'm going to have to get new lighting, but she's beautiful. Now I'm doing this page by page, and I made copies so it's split into like 4 pages. Oh, and then brilliant move of what I did. So I was going to start in the center because I have just enough fabric, like a little bit extra, but not a ton. So I was like, I'm going to start in the center, but I didn't realize that where I made my copy is the the split between the pages was not actually true center. I wasn't paying attention. So this is all shifted over like half an inch to the right from where I want it. But I've measured, and that's why I came out and did all of this, was because I wanted to come out as far as I could so I could count and make sure that I would have enough room, which I should. I won't have a ton of extra room for framing, but I think I'll have at least 2 inches, which should be good. I'm just not going to have a lot of room to have a big border, I guess, around her. I don't know. We'll see. My framer's pretty good. She can work with pretty much anything I give her. So there she is, Cathedral Woods. I'm going to definitely be working on this. And I'm so excited to start Lilith of Labrador because I'm obsessed with Mirabilias now, which is a problem. And I'll show you why in a second when I get to my haul. They're just, I don't know what it is. Like, they're just so much fun to stitch on. So speaking of Mirabilias, so Queen of Freedom, you may remember from my last video, I got fully stitched Mirabilia, Queen of Freedom. She's out of print from eBay. And funny story, Fiber Arts Amy apparently had been looking at her on eBay too. And I just happened to buy her like right before she went to buy her. And in her last video, she was looking for the purchaser, and then she found me and I was like, hey, yeah, I got it. I got it. So, but she needed some work. So I took a bunch of pictures. I've started working on her. So I'll try to insert the pictures as I'm talking about them here. But so the first thing I did was I had to get her out of the frame. The frame was just not great. I just didn't like it at all. So I took her out of the frame, and thankfully she wasn't on sticky board. That was like my biggest concern, was that she was going to be on sticky board, but she wasn't. She was pinned. And oh my goodness, whoever pinned this really cared a lot about this. There were a ton of pins. It was so meticulously done. I'm wondering if it was professionally framed. I'm not sure. But there was just a ton of pins. And I think I managed to not drop any because I was doing this on my bed, which probably wasn't the best place to do it, but I think I managed to not drop any pins. So I took her out of the frame and kind of assessed. The stitching is in pretty good shape. There's one spot on one of the stars where it's missing some stitches. So I haven't fixed that yet. I did go to the needle workshop today to my LNS. I go to Craft Center of Fine Stitchery in Salt Lake, and we looked at colors because this is an old pattern. I think it's from like 2002-ish, which I was like, oh, that's not that old. And then I realized that was like 20 years ago. So, yeah, I was like in college when this came out. So I went to my LNS and we picked out some floss that we think is going to match because obviously dye lots have changed in 20 years. So I was able to narrow down. I did find a list. This was difficult to do, but I found a list of all the DMC and all the treasures and beads that were listed for this piece. And so I knew kind of what colors we were looking at, but I'm going to end up having to do a blend because it's just not quite right. And I'm going to pick out what's there in the star because it's only part of the star that's missing, stitches. So I talked to the ladies at the shop, and we figured out how I'm going to pick that out so I can just restitch the whole star, and then you won't be able to tell anything's wrong. So that's the plan on that. I did have the treasures ordered. I ordered way more treasures than I needed to because I thought I was going to need to replace more, but I just needed to replace the treasures on the cords that kind of come off of her gown. The treasures in her hair were fine. I was thinking about replacing them, but the way they were stitched in, I couldn't. So I ended up replacing the treasures. There was only one that was still left, and it was just hanging on by a thread, literally. So I replaced those, and then I went through and looked at all the beads, and there are 2 beads missing. 2. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to buy a whole box of beads to replace these 2 beads. Thankfully, when I was at my LNS, they have kind of a stash there that they use for their own stitching. And so they found they had the beads and they gave me like 5 or 6 of them. So I didn't have to buy a whole box. Now the rest of the beads that are in there, I did go back through and basically restitch them. I didn't take them out or anything, but I just I've been using Nymo, I think it's called, beading thread. And I just went through and just re-secured them basically because a lot of them were really loose. There were some, like you could see on the back too, where some of the stitching had come loose for the beads. So not all of the beads, but a lot of them. So I did that, and then I need to replace those 2 beads. And so once I replace the 2 beads and once I replace the floss, I think I'm going to be done. And then it's just going to be a matter of framing her, which is, I've just been informed my framer at my LNS is on a little bit of a hiatus because of obtaining framing supply issues. So it's going to be a while, but I'll keep you guys posted and I'll show you pictures once she's more restored than what she is now. But I am working really hard because I know this piece is like, I got a lot of compliments about the piece, so I want to make sure I do it right and I do her justice because somebody put a lot of effort into this. It's very clear, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I want to make sure that I do her justice. So that is the update on Queen of Freedom. I don't have too much haul. The haul I do have is completely unnecessary. I don't know why I have it, but well, one of them I do. So I did buy, so I had to buy those treasures to like replace the ones, and I had them, I ordered them from 123 Stitch, and I was like, oh, I don't want the treasures to travel by themselves. I mean, that's kind of silly to like, you know, buy $6 or $6 or $8 worth of treasures and then spend $3 on shipping if I'm not buying anything else. So what did I do? I bought 3 Mirabilia patterns because that's my new obsession. So I bought, this is Gypsy Queen. And these are all ones that I had seen before and I really liked, but just hadn't bought. And I don't know when I'm going to stitch these, but God forbid they go out of print because apparently that's what they do. And I don't know why they put popular things out of print. So might as well buy them now while I can. So I got Gypsy Queen, who I love. She's got so many pretty colors. Look at that. And then I got, this one's called Red. And it's basically a modern, or a take on Little Red Riding Hood. And I just love that. I love the color red. I don't look great in red. I mean, some red I do, but it's hard with the red hair. So, but I love red. And I love how it contrasts with her dress and with the black in it. Beautiful. This one's going to be, oh my gosh. I just looked at the back of this for the first time. There is a lot of DMC, 2 water lilies, 3 blends, only 1 treasure, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 types of beads in here, 2 of which require 2 packs. So that's going to be a lot to kit up. Let's see. I didn't say on Gypsy Queen. Oh, Gypsy Queen's ridiculous too. Yeah, a lot of DMC, 3 blends. Ooh, this one's new. Rainbow Gallery Whisper. Ooh, I've never worked with Whisper before. That sounds entertaining. 3 Krennics, 3 water lilies, 2 treasures, and 5 different types of beads, but one of them calls for 4 boxes. How am I going to go through 4 boxes? Look at, I gotta stop picking out these really complicated ones. Lilith of Labrador isn't too complicated, so that should be good, but yeah. And then the last one I got, I've been eyeing this for a while and I don't know why I hadn't bought it sooner, but this is called the Snow Queen. And I love her. I told you, I really like wintry stuff. And this is like beautiful wintry, but not Christmassy. I mean, I guess you could make it Christmassy, like because of the reindeer, but to me, she's just in the snow. She's just the Snow Queen. And she has a ridiculous amount of DMC as well. 2 Karen water lilies, a whisper. What else do we have here? 2 chronics, 3 blends. Oh my Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different types of beads. One of which requires 3 boxes. And then 2 treasures. Oh my gosh, one of which requires 5 boxes of one of the treasures. What am I doing, you guys? I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. But I really wanted to make sure I had these because I'm like paranoid now that these are going to go out of print and I'm not going to be able to get them. Or I'm going to have to pay like $200 for them. And then the only other thing I got, and this kind of relates to what's going to be going on in my life. So I had shown many videos ago, I gotten this from Prairie Schooler, Prairie Lodge. And I'm not a huge Prairie Schooler fan. Like it's not my style for the most part, but I kind of liked this. I liked how they had done the framing and made them into little ornaments, which I don't need ornaments, but I like how I can make them into little hangings. So I just kind of liked it and I was like, I'll buy it. Like, why not? So I actually kitted it up because I think I'm going to do it. I got a floss and then I got 9 of these. They cut my LNS is so kind. They cut them all up and this is oatmeal 16. I think it's 16. Maybe it's 18. I think it's 18 count oatmeal Ada. Yeah. And so I got that and I got all 9 pieces and they serged them for me. And the reason I got these is because in about a month, so August 22nd, 22nd, my husband and I are leaving for a 3-week road trip. I have a 4-week leave of absence from work, which I've been working for 5.5 years there and I haven't taken a really big vacation since I've been there. So I just felt it was time for me to just take a break from being the only vet dentist in the state of Utah. So we are actually going on a 3-week road trip and I'll probably talk about this again in coming videos just to remind people that this is happening and I'm going to be gone for a while. I'm not going to be filming. So we're going up to the Pacific Northwest. We're going to 5 national parks. We're going to drive down the Pacific Coast Highway in Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. And I'm just really excited. So I'm hoping, I'm not going to be doing a ton of stitching, but I think that Prairie Lodge thing is going to be a good thing to stitch on because we are doing a lot of driving. I think we calculated that over these 3 weeks, just going between home and the parks and then back home, like the whole driving, not including driving around the parks, we're doing at least 64 hours of driving. And by we, I mean my husband, because he likes to drive and he doesn't like it when I drive. He gets anxiety. So I'm going to have a lot of time in the car to do nothing except for stitch, maybe. It's probably going to drive him nuts that I do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, yeah, so I think that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed and it was great. It's great seeing all of you guys or talking to you guys in the comments. And if you have any comments or questions, definitely. Oh, wait, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you guys. Okay, so my last video, I showed off my patches, my national park patches, which I'm really excited. I'm going to get 5 more on this trip. And a lot of people seem to really enjoy that, which I was kind of surprised about because I had nothing to do with stitching. But I had a thought, because I think a lot of people like to watch this while they're stitching, and so sometimes they just want to hear some talking, which I totally get. I love that. And so I had a thought that maybe, because I love the national parks so much, and I love our state parks too, is that at the end of my videos, once I'm done talking about the stitching, if there's anyone interested who wants to stick around, I could highlight a national park and kind of give you my version of what there is at those parks, what there is to do, kind of my experiences with them. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments. I think, yeah, just let me know, because I think that would be fun to do. I mean, we're talking like 5 minutes or so of me just randomly talking about a park that I've been to. So just let me know. Anyway, that's all I have, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And again, leave me comments. Love reading those. All right, you guys take care, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.